Everybody on the green, on the green. On the green, stay on the green. On the green. Good morning. What a great day. I'm Roy Gardner, Interim Dean of the College of Law of Stetson University, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our spring commencement. It is wonderful to see so many people here this morning for such an important event in our graduates' lives. Thank you for joining us. Graduates, this is a significant day in your journey to be an attorney. I congratulate you and wish you the best of luck and success in the future. We will now hear greetings from Beth Paul, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs of Stetson University, Sammy Cacciatore from the University Board of Trustees, Josh Magidson, Chair of the College of Law's Board of Overseers, Clinton Paris, President of the Stetson Lawyers Association, and Ashley Donnell, President of the Student Bar Association.
Good morning. It is wonderful to be here with you today and celebrating this most important and most exciting event with you. I bring greetings from President Wendy Libby, who at this very moment is presiding over the commencement exercises for the College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Business Administration, and the School of Music across the state in DeLand, Florida. Stetson is very proud to brighten Florida from coast to coast with our high-quality academic programs, helping students to achieve not only success, but lives of significance. We're also very proud to brighten the world with our alumni who travel the globe, making a difference for all of us and for that wonderful future ahead. I would like to salute my faculty colleagues who are incredibly generous teacher scholars. What is special about Stetson, and really quite deeply special, is the personal investment that they make in every individual student. You have mentors that will last a lifetime. And for that, I am grateful. And for that, I know you are grateful as well. And students, I'm very proud of you. You have taken on significant intellectual challenges, personal challenges, as well as challenges in our community. You've already started living lives of significance through your experience at the College of Law, and I'm very excited to see the next stages that you take on. Best wishes to you, and thank you.
Good morning. It's a beautiful day. Graduates, this is the beginning of your career as lawyers. Congratulations on behalf of the Board of Trustees. You are graduating today from the oldest law school in the state of Florida. You will be going into one of the proudest and most important professions of our society. I like that attitude. Keep remembering that. And remember your school in the future. It's been the 3 hard years. We all know that. But I'll tell you, after 46 years ago, one spring just like this, it's worth it. And remember Stetson, remember the fun you've had here, and remember that everywhere you go in the state of Florida, you represent the school that has the highest professional respect among lawyers. So carry that message and hold your head up high and do well by Stetson. Congratulations, and I'll tell you, good luck on the bar exam. Thank you.
Good morning. My name's Josh Magidson. I'm chairman of the Board of Overseers here at the law school, and I welcome you to our law school and this incredible day and a wonderful setting. I graduated here in 1980, sitting right over there, and I remember walking down as a student and how pretty and beautiful this day is. And it's important for all the families and all the friends of the graduates who I see beaming with pride and smiles to really enjoy this day. Take the time off to appreciate what you've done, the accomplishments that you've made, and enjoy this day. It is a special day, and we congratulate you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Clinton Paris, and I am the president of the Stetson Alumni Advisory Committee. And on behalf of the 8,500 plus graduates of the College of Law, I congratulate this year's college graduates. Wherever you may go in this country or indeed the world, you will find a connection to Stetson. Be it by Facebook, Twitter, email, text, telephone call, in a real desperate moment, be it a handshake, you will find the support and camaraderie of Stetson alumni. I congratulate you on this final transition as you enter the world of the legal profession, and I look forward to celebrating you one day on your great achievements. Congratulations and good luck.
Good morning. My name is Ashley Donnell. I was lucky enough to be elected as the student body president, and I'm honored to speak to you all today. So I just want to say to my classmates, wow, the last 3 years have gone by so fast. There were moments in law school that we all felt were painstakingly slow, usually right around the end of the semester, what we refer to as exam period. But overall, I have to tell you all, this time has flown by. The practice of law is an incredible privilege. In fact, only 1 out of 300 people in the United States are lawyers, and I read that on the internet, so we all know that's a fact. But what's exciting is that each and every one of us here will have that opportunity and that privilege. We've all been told about the long hours and the pressures we may face in this field, but we're all still here because we know the power, the responsibility, and the excitement that comes with this career field and with this career path. That's why we're all here today at the end of this journey. But now we embark on a new journey, the beginning of our legal careers. Saniki Suzuki once said, knowledge is not skill. Knowledge plus 10,000 times is skill. Well, lucky enough for Stetson, we've been given ample knowledge. We've been given ample skill. And I don't know if you guys have heard, but this school has a pretty good reputation when it comes to advocacy, so we've all had a great chance to learn that skill. And isn't that the practice of law? Knowing how to do exactly what you've been taught, the practice of law, going out there and doing it that 10,000 times. I think about what I knew as a 1L, how little I knew, and it's both hilarious and kind of scary. But there's not one person here that doesn't know how steep the learning curve in law school was, that doesn't know and wouldn't agree that in the last 3 years, our entire way of thinking, our entire way of analyzing every challenge that comes our way has been so affected by our legal education. So as we continue into our legal career and we practice the law, we will never stop learning because the law is dynamic and diverse, just as every student here graduating is. The law is ever changing just as we will, and as we are constantly challenged by the law, so will we become better lawyers. Going to Stetson has given us the toolkit to access our excellence. And the real confidence we find as lawyers will be the moments where our challenges are met with actual lived moments of success. So I think what Suzuki was trying to say is that the real knowledge and the real skill simply comes with experience, or the old adage that practice simply makes perfect. Knowing how to do something isn't the same as knowing it well, but there is simply no doubt in this graduating class that we will do well. In fact, we'll do better than well because we graduated from Stetson University College of Law. I've seen the excellence, the talent, and the ambition that resides in your children, your brothers, your sisters, your spouses. It's incredible. We have become a community. We've competed with each other, commiserated with each other, we've confided with each other, but we did it. We did it. As individuals and as a community, we've persevered, and I'm here to tell you that not everybody in the world is capable or is willing to do what we've done, but we did it. So today, we go from classmates to colleagues, and now marks the day where we can truly look to each other in the future for all the things we need in legal profession and beyond. When we pass the bar, we make our official entrance into the legal community, but from the first day of orientation in the Great Hall, we became a part of the Stetson community. So remember that as you embark into this new world and you embark on your career, you won't just be any lawyer, you'll be a Stetson lawyer. You're a part of the Stetson community, and that is forever. I want to say congratulations to my classmates. I want to say thank you to the support of all the people that have stood behind us, our families, our friends, the people that missed us when we couldn't come home sometimes. And the final words I want to leave with my classmates and with all of you is to cherish the time that we have had, embrace this moment, and live for your future, because we did it. Congratulations, we are Stetson.
Thank you, Ashley. Over the past week, we have honored many of these graduates for their academic and extracurricular accomplishments. These achievements are printed in your commencement program. Will the students recognized at Thursday's graduation brunch please stand so that we might recognize you as a group? And will the students recognized at last night's Honors and Awards ceremony please stand as a group so that we might congratulate you? And I would like the class valedictorian, Scott Stevenson, to stand so that we may congratulate him. Well done, all. Provost Paul, with the approval of the Board of Trustees of Stetson University, I present Lieutenant Commander Nieva M.S. Brock to receive the honorary Doctor of Law degree.
Thank you, Dean Gardner. Today, we at Stetson University are honored to recognize you, Lieutenant Commander Nieva M.S. Brock, for your great achievements as a leading expert on the military rule of law. As a decorated officer, you are serving your second tour as the Staff Judge Advocate and Ethics Counselor to the Director of the Naval Criminal Investigative Services. Over your distinguished military career, you have served as the Deputy Division Director for the National Security Litigation Division of the U.S. Navy's Office of the Judge Advocate General. During a deployment in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom, you were the officer in charge of an Office of Criminal Investigations Legal Joint Task Force, where you led a team of more than 30 Navy Masters-at-Arms and 12 attorneys from the Air Force, Navy, and Coast Guard. You have been honored with the 2010 Latina-Style Department of Defense Distinguished Service Award for the U.S. Navy, and you have received numerous medals for meritorious service and achievement. As an educator, you have led courses and training programs for military and U.S. government attorneys on topics including the use of classified information, discovery and evidence matters, and search and seizure issues. In light of your many accomplishments and under the authority vested in me by Stetson University's Board of Trustees, I proudly present you with the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree.
Oh my goodness, look how tall everyone is. Thank you so much for this amazing honor. Honestly, Dean, when Dean Gardner called me about a few months ago in January and asked me to do this speech for you, you graduates, my now classmates, I thought, oh my God, what am I going to say? But I'm very proud to have a retired Navy chief husband who told me that why don't I just say exactly what Rodney Dangerfield said in the movie Back to School. Now, I don't know if these young folk remember that movie, but I know some of you do. And it went something like this. It's a jungle out there, so look out for number one, but don't step in number two. But, seriously, distinguished faculty, family, and friends, it is a great honor for me to be here today, and it's so wonderful to see how you're supporting your graduates. My fellow classmates, I realized that this will be the last speech you hear as law students, and in the time that I have, I would like to present you your final assignment. Ladies and gentlemen, why are you even here? How did this glorious day come to pass for you? Did you get here on your own? No matter how much we believe we made it on our own, that simply is not true. You're not here today without the thoughts, hopes, prayers, and assistance of someone else. You may not know who that person or people were, but I tell you, they were there. Maybe it was a high school teacher or a family friend. Maybe it was your loving family. You may know who they were, or you may not. Maybe it was an unknown donor to a scholarship you received. It just doesn't matter. What matters is that they were there to help. We need to recognize that we do not succeed on our own. We are uplifted spiritually, physically, and financially by others. Others such as the very people in this audience who mold us into the men and women we are destined to become. So now I ask you, who are you uplifting? Who will succeed from your gifts of knowledge, prayer, or financial support? Do you believe that you can truly make a difference in someone else's future? Well, there are 4 life principles that I want to talk to you about today. And the first principle is support another life. As a graduate of Stetson University, you will have many opportunities to give a helping hand to someone in need. And I know that Stetson believes firmly in this. Never overlook this opportunity, and let me tell you why. In October of 1965, in a small town in New York, there was a 12-year-old girl. She's Puerto Rican descent and was shoplifting. The shopkeeper caught her shoplifting with 2 small children in tow. When she was caught, the shopkeeper did not call the police, though, because he noticed she wasn't stealing toys or candy. She noticed that she was stealing baby diapers and food items. Instead, the shopkeeper called the truancy officer. Again, you may not know what a truancy officer is, but those folks out there, some people know a truancy officer caught those folks who were skipping school. When he brought the children to their home, he found a 3-month-old girl alone in a crib, in a darkened room, and a 12-month-old boy rummaging through the trash. There was no parent in sight. There was nothing. That day, all the children were separated and placed into various and different foster homes in the state of New York. The baby girl remained in foster care for 12 years. At that time, the odds for that young Puerto Rican baby reaching adulthood were extremely slim. At best, she had a 50% chance of being illiterate, a 60% chance of suffering developmental delays, and merely a 6% chance of graduating from college. My classmates, I was that 3-month-old girl. Literally, against all odds, I stand before you, a well-educated, respected leader and JAG officer in the world's finest Navy. Though I believed I was working alone in my younger life to get out of the abuse and poverty in which I was, I know now with the utmost certainty that I did not get to where I am on my own. There were people in my life that supported me even when I didn't know they were there. So this brings me to my second principle: encourage another soul. I remember when my foster parents' daughter, a woman more than 20 years my senior, insisted I apply for an Ivy League school, even though my foster parents didn't agree. And at the time, I must admit, I didn't have the level of confidence in myself that she had. My foster parents didn't believe I had what it takes to even go to college. But then one afternoon, my sister came and sat down with me with a college application. She insisted that I apply to the school and refused to take no for an answer. At the end of that day, she mailed off the completed package with absolute certainty that I would be accepted. Because of this single defining moment of faith and confidence in me from that dear woman, I am a graduate of Cornell University. Thank you. She gave me confidence and help at a critical time in life, and as a result, I rose above and beyond the odds that were stacked against me. Indeed, classmates, one person can make a difference. My third principle for you, mentor the young. I also owe a lot of my military success to my very first commanding officer. After graduating from Cornell University, I became a child abuse investigator and social worker in the state of New York. After working in that capacity, I realized I could be more effective if I represented children in court as an attorney rather than as their social worker. So I applied to law school, and quite to my surprise, I was accepted. During my last year of law school, I was also accepted in the Judge Advocate General's Corps of the United States Navy. Let me tell you, I was still not as confident in my abilities as I should have been. After passing the bar exam, I spent 9 weeks at the Naval Justice School, where I learned about military justice and legal assistance and operational law and a slew of other bodies of law that we never even touch on in law school. When I received orders to become a trial counsel, for those of you who are not military, that means prosecutor, I thought, oh my God, I was going to have to go and litigate. But let me just say, although the JAG Corps now makes JAG attorneys practice 2 years in their careers before they can enter the courtroom, that wasn't the case when I came in 18 years ago. You simply went to trial. And just as they are today, my knees were shaking on that very first day of trial. So there I was, I finished my opening statement and sat down. And when the defense counsel stood up to make his opening statement, he said, "Wouldn't it be nice if we could believe what people say?" Well, I jumped up from my seat, and faster than my brain could process what I was doing, I blurted out, "Objection! Argument!" And then I flopped back down on my seat. The defense counsel was absolutely shocked, because no one objects during opening statement. The judge was actually my very first commanding officer, and he looked at me, and for a time, the clock stopped. Time stood still. I stared at him, he stared at me, which seemed like hours, but I'm sure it was like 10 seconds. He then said, "Sustained. Counsel?" And the defense counsel began flipping through his papers, papers falling off the podium. He was in complete disarray and taken completely off his game. That was the day, classmates. That was the moment I knew I had earned my place in this profession, that I owned that courtroom, and that I can make a difference in this world, and that I could bring justice to any case I was asked to handle as a prosecutor or as a defense attorney. When I think about how terrified I was that very first day in the courtroom, I just laugh and smile to myself, because I think about how far I've come and all the challenges and dangers I faced in this wonderful, wonderful profession. Recently, I served about a year in war-torn Iraq. I was on a joint military base in the city of Baghdad. Every day, there were reports of bombings and insurgent activity. Death was everywhere, and it always seemed just around the corner for those of us who were not hit. There were many times when the explosions were so big and so close that we could feel the wave of the explosion shaking our guts before we could actually hear it with our ears. So there I was. I was charged with leading and mentoring and training over 35 young sailors and 12 JAG officers. Not only did I get to practice law involving investigations against some of the very ruthless detainees that Iraq had, but as their officer in charge, I was charged with their health and safety, and their lives were in my hands. I am so happy to say that I was blessed to earn their trust and loyalty, and I did not lose one soul under my leadership. Indeed, I have come such a long way since that first day in the courtroom and those days in the darkened room in that crib. I have shed my lack of confidence and no longer question whether I will make a difference. So are you confident that you will make a difference? I challenge each of you to believe in yourself, to use your law degree to serve, to counsel, and uplift others. You can change the direction of another person's life for the better, just as my commanding officer did for me. Now, Proverbs tells us that where there is no vision, the people perish. Do you have a vision for other people's lives as well as your own? Will you support that vision, or will you let it perish? I conclude with my fourth and final principle for life success. Fulfill your purpose. Recently, I had the great pleasure of talking with high school students in Virginia who some label as at-risk, delinquent, or needy. The odds were stacked against them. I discussed my life story with them and encouraged them to believe they could rise up and out of their current situations, that their lives could change. I was so touched when a shy young woman came up to me that day, and she said she too had been in foster care, and that hearing my story encouraged her to believe that she too could change the path of her life. I believe that each of us was created for such an occasion as this, a time to put your degree to use for the good of mankind and guide someone's path. It doesn't matter if you go into corporate law or business law or immigration law, your gifts are far greater than your legal skills. You must find a way to help someone else's path. You have been blessed to receive this law degree, and with great blessings come the obligation to reach back and lift up others. No one can tell you how to do it. You can volunteer, financially support, provide pro bono services, teach, speak encouraging words, whatever you like, but you must do it. It's time for you to reach back and lift up. You've started that tradition here at Stetson, but you must continue it throughout your careers. President John Quincy Adams once said, "If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader." In the same manner, I tell you, uplifting, mentoring, encouraging, and fulfilling your purpose is true leadership. Now that you are graduates of Stetson Law, it's time to embrace your new roles as leaders in society. In the military, we do have a saying that it is far better to follow well than to lead indifferently. I tell you, classmates, lead someone or be the leader on something. Never, never, never choose to follow. Lead. Do not be satisfied as followers or as indifferent leaders, for real leaders are simply ordinary people with extraordinary conviction. And so, classmates, my final assignment to you is this. Remember these 4 life principles. Write them down. Look at them each and every day of your life. Memorize them. Write them on the very walls of your heart. Support another life. Encourage another soul. Mentor the young and fulfill your purpose. Please, support another life. Encourage another soul. Mentor the young and fulfill your purpose. Congratulations, Stetson Law, class of 2012. I salute you.
Lieutenant Commander Brock, thank you so much for your thoughtful and inspirational words. Provost Paul, today we recognize the December 2011 graduates and honor students who are May and July 2012 candidates for the LLM in Elder Law, the LLM in International Law, and the Juris Doctor degree. We anticipate that all candidates listed in the graduation program will meet the requirements for their respective degrees. As such, I ask that you prospectively confer their degrees upon them. All graduates, graduation candidates, faculty members, trustees, and overseers, please stand.
Thank you, Dean Gardner. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Stetson University, pursuant to charter granted by the state of Florida, I pronounce you graduates of Stetson University and confer upon you all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. Graduates, please come forward as your name is called.
The December 2011 candidates for the Master of Laws in Elder Law: Elizabeth Herrera Allen, with distinction. Nova D. Muhlenberg Burnett, with distinction in absentia. Kendra A. Hinton. And Frederick C. Reich, in absentia. The May and July 2012 candidates for the Master of Laws in Elder Law: Connie Lynn Boswell, with distinction. Mindy Ann Farrar, in absentia. Julie M. Fiedler, with distinction, in absentia. Britton Ryan Garan, in absentia. Helene Barry Levy. Lori L. Millett, with distinction. A. Carey Peter, Jr., in absentia. Eric Ryan Severson. Nicole Marie Weigel, in absentia. The December 2011 candidates for the Master of Laws in International Law: Nishat Azam, in absentia. Eddie Blaine, in absentia. Luz Maria Carrera, with distinction, in absentia. Carlos Enrique Ludert. The May and July 2012 candidates for the Master of Law in International Law: Tamir Nassar A. Alagili, in absentia. Juan Jose Diaz Granados Prieto. Maria Gonzalez Valero. Nina Lynn Hayden, with distinction, in absentia. Mikal Homsa. Nahed Iskander. Sunwee Kim, in absentia. Junior mentor, with distinction, in absentia. Nixon Pierre. Yvonne Rodriguez, with distinction. Pornpirun Tanyasri. Juan Manuel Sarama, with distinction. the December 2011 JD candidates. William Michael Allen Jr., magna cum laude, honors program.
Anchanto
Ashley Elizabeth Duznick, cum laude, honors program. The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by his mother, Deborah J. Gell, a 2002 graduate of the College of Law, Jason Edward Gell. Whitney Marie Hodges.
Megan Elizabeth Horn. Brooke Alexandra Kernan. Stephen Neil Lax. Joey Angel Machado.
John D. McBride, Certificate of Concentration in International Law.
Gordon Garfield Oldham IV. Ashley Ann Radko.
Jessica Long Ratana, cum laude.
Jeffrey M. Stiller.
Luisa Tarasova, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Vivian Viejo.
The May and July 2012 JD candidates. Carlos Alberto Abounza, JD MBA.
Richard Saeed Ackley.
Wendy Michelle Addison.
Andrea Alderman.
Joshua Alexander.
Albert Louis Alguadich Jr.
Kristen Michelle Allain.
Matthew Joseph Richard Allen.
Stephen Alexander Alvarez, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Ryan M. Angel with honors program.
Brett Anthony.
Corey R. Anthony with honors Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Zachary David Armacida.
Kate S. Atkinson, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Elaine M. Babiars with honors.
Nicole Marie Baer.
Frank John Bain with honors, JD MBA.
John Christian Barker.
Rachel Nicole Barlow with honors.
Rachel Marie Batten with honors program.
Grant Eric Beardsley, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Jessica Ann Beck, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her mother, Laura B. Bellflower, a 1991 graduate of the College of Law. Jana M. Bellflower with Honors JD MBA Honors Program.
Alexandra Rose Belcher.
Tracy D. Blake, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
Maria Bogomas.
Marcella Bonells, with Honors, Certificate of Concentration in Environmental Law.
Sarah Elizabeth Brasher, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
Peter C. Bradshaw III.
John Michael Brennan, Jr., JD MBA.
Christopher D. Breton, with Honors.
Eric B. Briley, with Honors.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by his father, Robert Bugg, a 1976 graduate of the College of Law. Adam Robert Bugg, with Honors, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
If you could stay there for 1 second. Thank you. Thank you.
Ellen Annalise Bullock.
Jason Riley Vermer.
Nicole Lorraine Butler.
Crystal A. Cardoza.
Matthew Stephen Carney, with Honors.
Wesley Dean Carroll, in absentia.
Christina Casadante Abastolu, with Honors, Honors Program.
Melissa Casiola.
Julian Jose Catala.
Cynthia T. Cavo.
Javier Andres Amador Santanzio, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Aaron Lee Cintrone, with Honors.
Elizabeth Renee Charlier.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her mother, Linda Chazal, a 1978 graduate of the College of Law, Amanda Elizabeth Chazal. Thank you.
Leah Rose Chelly, in absentia.
Maria Teresa Chukazuda, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her mother, Linda Anderson, a professor at Stetson University College of Law. Courtney Marie Shafretti.
Tanisha Rosemary Clark.
Tiffany Coburn.
Amanda Sigurdsson Coffey with honors.
Catherine J. Copeland.
Thank you.
Amanda Corsentino.
Lindsay Ann Council.
Janice Crandall.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her father-in-law, the Honorable Sean Crane, a 1983 graduate of the College of Law and adjunct professor at Stetson University College of Law, Lauren Francis Crane.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by his father, the Honorable Sean Crane, a 1983 graduate of the College of Law and adjunct professor at Stetson University College of Law, Sean Nicholas Crane.
Alexandra Crittenden.
Rachel J. Cruz.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her husband, Adam A. Chaya, a 2011 graduate of the College of Law, Jessica Kathleen Chaya.
Vincent Michael D'Agostino.
Jared Delfino.
Megan Nicole Daniel.
Preston Davis.
Caitlin Cassidy DeSantis.
Caitlin May DeRogers with honors, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
Christy Ann Devendorf.
Christopher John Donegan with honors, JD/MBA.
Ashley Nicole Donnell.
Catherine Nicole Dunsing with honors in absentia.
Babatola Adegbo Durajaye with honors.
Christine Daniel Edwards, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her sister-in-law, Erin Leah Endralunas, a 2011 graduate of the College of Law, Kate Elizabeth Endralunas.
Kathleen Ann Engelman with honors, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
There you go.
Lauren Michelle Ingle.
Nyla Esmail, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Veronica Jean Pryor Estevez.
Diana Nicole Evans with honors, honors program in absentia.
Christina Marie Fernandez.
Alexandria Rose Finch with honors, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Jennifer Emily Fiore.
Jessica Lauren Flammer with honors.
Christian James Flask.
Todd Fleming, Certificate of Concentration in International Law.
Jonathan Flugstad.
Robert Todd Fountain with honors.
Heather Grace Janvrin Freeman, JD MBA, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Alexandra Suzanne Fugate.
Kristen Lee Gamboa with honors.
Tara Brooke Geiger with honors.
Robert Lee Gibbons, in absentia.
Margaret Lee Gibbs.
Grant Riley Gillenwater.
Ashley Arisha Goggins, JD MBA.
Carly Marie Gonzalez.
Melissa Gonzalez.
Hillary Veronica Gordon.
William Ellsworth Griffith III.
Kevin Grignall, JD MBA.
Bishoy Michael Habib, JD MBA.
Carrie Lynn Hall with honors.
Christopher Frederick Hamilton.
Blake Prentice Hampton.
Francis Edward Hannon, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Eric Matthew Hansen with honors.
Shannon Michelle Hart.
Shaquana Shamir Harper.
Andrew McLeod Harrison.
Chelsea Carol Harrison with honors program.
Daniel Scott Hartpence.
Ashley Sharp Hawk with honors.
Pamela Elliott Hembry, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
John Ross Hahn Henley.
Ronald Robert Pink, Jr. with honors.
Thomas Wiley Hodges III.
Robert Clayton Hubbard with honors.
Amelia Marie Hummel with honors. Honors program, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Derek John Hutek with honors.
John Michael Izzo, in absentia.
Douglas Gregory Jackson with honors program.
Bernie Vernson Jacques.
Jacqueline Kent Jameson with honors.
Marjorie E. Jaskey, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
John Kenneth Jefferson, JD MBA.
Allison S. Jenks with honors.
Carmen Brianna Johnson.
Douglas Thomas Johnson.
Elliot Forbes Johnson.
Kristen S. Johnson, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Joseph Stanley Jones.
Megan Suchitra Kale.
Sabsina Nasim Karimi.
Jennifer Michelle Kyle.
Patrick A. Kennedy, JD MBA.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by his brother, Trent A. Kennelly, a 2010 graduate of the College of Law, Kyle Michael Kennelly. Honors Program.
Matthew Tyler Carey.
Luke Keel, JD MBA in absentia.
Roy A. Keelick with honors.
Brad Jeffrey Kimber.
J. Bennett Kitterman, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her brother, Joseph Martin Knaust, a 2010 graduate of the College of Law. Margaret Ruth Knaust with honors, JD MBA.
Alexander Paul Kniefel.
Charles L. Cook.
Samantha Kathleen Koiker.
Ryan Michael Koski.
Kimberly Ann Coves with honors.
Christy Jolie Krisnerick.
Jason Stephen Lambert with honors, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Eric Lamontang in absentia.
Muriel Lanza.
Derek Evan Larson Cheney with honors.
Erin Jane Leathers.
Kirsten Elizabeth Leedy.
Christian Michael Ledger with honors, honors program.
Ryan James Lloydhauser with honors.
Natalia Vasilyevna Levchenko.
Julie Ann Liang, Certificate of Concentration in International Law.
Carlos Nash Lacona, Certificate of Concentration in International Law.
Ming J. Lin, Jr.
Frederick Vashon Longmire, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Sarah Rose Lord.
Cassandra Marie Laugi, JD MBA.
Gregory Michael Makowitz Ludka.
Natalie Lewick.
Jennifer E. Lugerai in absentia.
Catherine Suzanne Lupo with honors, JD MBA honors program.
Thomas M. Leiden with honors, Certificate of Concentration in International Law in absentia.
Brian Edmund Leidick.
Ross Michael Mabry.
Patrick Walter Maloney in absentia.
Stacy Maloney, JD MBA.
Sylvia Manzanero, Certificate of Concentration in International Law.
Nicholas Anthony Marzek.
Sarah Elizabeth Maxwell.
Megan Blair Mazzone.
Patrick Stephen McCardle with honors.
Katrina Marie McCormick.
Scott Preston McCaig with honors, JD MBA.
Najah Sharon McCoy, JD MBA.
William Francis Meadows IV.
Eileen Mejias.
David Mervine in absentia.
Gavin Matthew Myers.
Sharon Miller with honors program in absentia.
Sadia Mirza, Certificate of Concentration in International Law.
Kevin Sheridan Maloney.
Ronald Wayne Moore III in absentia.
William E. Moran.
Levi Morris.
Riley Foster Morrison, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
Natalie Christine Navarro.
Gabriel Hansen Niebergall, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Lily No, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
Diva Elena O'Brien.
Mark Harmon Joseph Osborne.
Stephanie Marie Palacios.
Jacqueline N. Palazzolo.
Brian C. Palumbo.
Elizabeth Ann Charlotte Pangborn with honors, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
Benjamin C. Paris.
Nicholas Paul Paskowitz, JD MBA.
Jonathan Gregory Peterson, JD MBA.
Jacob W. Pillsbury.
Stephanie K. Pizarro.
Matthew Brian Podolsky, JD MBA.
Joshua Matthew Pomerantz.
Stephanie Lynn Poniatowski with honors, JD MBA Honors Program.
Maggie Eileen Potter.
William A. Patusik with honors, JD MBA.
Robson David Charles Powers.
Craig Richard Pro.
Tyson James Pulsifer with honors.
Rachel Ellen Purcell.
Zachary Reppel.
Raquel Ramona Ramirez with honors, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Ryan James Reed.
Daniela Rivera.
Maria Christine Rivero.
Megan Jean Robison, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Tara Nicole Romer.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her father, Charles H. Rose III, a professor at Stetson University College of Law, Laura Ann Rose.
Anna Judd Rosenberg.
Danielle Alexandra Rothenberg.
Stacy Lynn Rowan with honors.
Andrew William Rush with honors.
John Patrick Sachs.
Fernando J. Salamanca.
Jennifer Marie Solomon.
Sarah Jordan Redding Sandy with honors.
Stephanie Lynn Sawchuk with honors.
Jacob Nikolai Shearer with honors. I believe Jacob's father is here. Jacob is with his wife today, eagerly anticipating the arrival of their first child. To accept the diploma on Jacob's behalf is his father, George Shearer, MD.
Lauren Renee Steninger, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Ryan Michael Shirley, JD MBA.
Haria Shirzadi.
Paul F. Showalter III.
Nicole Jeanette Civils.
Colin Richard Smith.
Sarah Alexandra Smith.
Sarah Mae Smith.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her brother-in-law, Adam Lewis, a 2008 graduate of the College of Law, Hannah Lynn Snyder.
Melissa Diane Solavilla.
Walter Soa III.
Mark F.A. St. Louis.
Jacqueline Ariel Steinberg, in absentia.
Sonia Paulina Stepien with honors.
Alyssa Ellen Stevens with honors.
Rachel D. Stevens.
Scott Stevenson with honors.
Daniel R. Strader with honors, honors program.
Shannon Renee Strasser with honors, JD MBA.
John Michael Stratton.
Elizabeth Ann Stringer with honors.
Jessica R. Sullivan, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Yulia V. Swaim with honors, honors program.
Darcy Ahern Sweet with honors, honors program.
Brandon C. Shmula, JD MBA.
Kristen Nicole Taylor.
Tori Clifford Taylor.
Jessie Lynn H. T-Bolt.
Betty Frances Thomas.
Michelle Marie Tibbetts, in absentia.
Amy Marie Tiffany.
Gina Marie Trevey, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
Frank Joseph Tileman Jr. with honors, honors program, Certificate of Concentration in Elder Law.
Christina E. Uncle, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Megan Maria Upchurch with honors, honors program.
John S. Valenti Jr.
Emily K. Van Oosting, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Ivanella Vasileva.
Donna Ellen Venable.
Christine C. Vicari.
Ronald Christopher Walton.
Suzanne Eldridge Ward with honors.
Justin Van Warden.
Ryan Anthony Wayner, JD MBA with honors in absentia.
Kyle Matthew Weintraub.
Jesse M. Weissman.
Nathan Alexander West.
Philip Andrew Francis Wiley, JD MBA.
The diploma for our next graduate will be presented by her mother, Rebecca Odell Townsend, and grandfather, Rebecca E. Worry, 1999 and 1977 graduates of the College of Law. Bethany N. Worry with honors.
Tara Elizabeth Wheat.
Christopher Allen White with honors.
Sarah Sanders Whitehead with Honors, Honors Program.
Amanda Marie Witt.
Howard James Williams.
Bradley Todd Wilson.
Brandy Nicole Wilson.
Erica Suzanne Wilson.
Whitney Worth Wilson.
Amanda Brooke Wolf, Certificate of Concentration in International Law.
William Hartley Wolf, in absentia.
Michael Cosmas Woodard, with Honors, Certificate of Concentration in Advocacy.
Soo Jung Yoon, with Honors.
Catherine Michelle Zirkle, with Honors.
To the graduates, on behalf of the university trustees, the College of Law Board of Overseers, and faculty and staff of the College of Law, we wish you much success and happiness in your new careers. And let us take a moment to again thank your family and friends who have supported and guided you through this journey.